Welcome ready to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020, as it's the 12th day of 31 days of May of content here on the channel, which hopefully I'll be able to continue here. But, not a huge deal as we're just continuing on, so let's get rolling to Nitro as we're continuing on the road to Great American Bash, at least over on Revolution, and just letting Nitro be Nitro. And Nitro itself, which I totally forgot to set a place for, but actually Kentucky works fine. All things considered, that's perfectly fine. That makes most sense. Yeah, okay. See, weird things happen. Anyway, we open the show up here as it's Shane Helms. Not Shane Helms, but we open up the announcers, basically known for the big main event as Shane Helms, who of course has been teaming with Titus Tomko lately. They're going to face off against one half of one of the biggest tag teams in WCW at the moment, Hart Legacy, as he takes on Jack Evans. Yeah, Shane Helms versus Jack Evans is a main event in 2005 on Nitro. It's a very different wrestling world. But until that, the announcers send us to the ring. We've got a big cruiserweight match as it's Austin Aries versus the Great Sasauke, which, okay. So we had a couple problems here. Okay, first, I thought Aries was hot enough that he wouldn't get the ding for the pre-show worker thing, which is unfortunate, but okay. But they also didn't click, which is unfortunate, so that probably actually killed it more. Okay. So this is just a back and forth, high spot match, basically a fun little cruiserweight undercard match, and eventually, it looks like Sasauke is actually going to get going to get the win over Aries when a dark-haired woman comes to the ring and distracts Sasauke just long enough for Aries to clip him from behind, pull him up, hit the brainbuster, and then go up top and hit the 450 splash for the pinfall win here on Nitro, as it gets a 34, unfortunately. Aries gets a 39, Sasauke gets a 42, they didn't click, and then we had the turn-off bonus. And it was supposed to set as Brooks interfering, but weird things happen. Anyway, or distracting. And then Crazy Brooks then heads to the back as Aries is very confused, but he, grins cockily anyway and gets to the back as just put over. A big win for Aries after losing at the pay-per-view, but now it looks like he's back on the winning track, even if it took some unexpected help. As this gets a 32, as again, announcers haven't told her who she is, but Aries doesn't seem to know her either. Anyway, we then head backstage, where Bischoff is in his backstage office when Reno Gigantes come in, and Reno Gigantes says, "Look, we know we lost versus Helms and Tomko. We just want to be part of this tag division, and want a chance to make up for it, and actually, face off against some competition here in WCW." And Josh was actually, look, I'm actually happy about this, because too often people come in here and they just become obsessed with their enemies, and they don't actually want to compete against the rest of the division. And so, speaking of that, if you want a challenge, you'll get a challenge, because you see, like I just said, there's some wrestlers who think they're above all this and are beyond the law here in WCW. And I want to prove them that is not true at all. So, if you want to prove yourself to me, I want to prove yourself to be a strong part of the Nitro roster, then get in tonight against Macias and Morningstar. But for that, Reno's and Gigantes agree, and it looks like we got a big tag match later tonight. And this gets a 68, mainly because Reno wasn't great, but anyway, just as it was also only 4 minutes, so we're still just continuing here on Nitro. As then, I believe, yeah, so this is going to look very dumb if it isn't the next promo, but if not, we'll get through it. Actually, I just want to double check. Okay, totally is, which is why I'm okay spoiling this. Anyway, so, Leppan and Toland come down to the ring along with Don Marie, and they, say, "Look, it's obvious, Flair, you've talked and talked, you've watched so many matches, but we know you're here to become part of our team. After all, who else would you want to have as your tag team here in WCW? Who else would you want to manage? Who else would the dirtiest player in the game, a 17-time world champion, want to manage? Except for the biggest international superstar in WWE today and the sexiest man in the business, along with the lovely Don Marie." Cue all splash Zerka. Nature Boy comes out. And then, Flair comes up and he says, "Whoo, it's inviting, especially with your lovely manager there. But unfortunately, I'm all booked up. You see, I have to admit, I was watching tag matches, brother. I wasn't actually coming out to find a new tag team because I already had a team. After Sting and I lost at Starrcade, I do a lot of hell of a hell of a lot of soul searching and realize it wasn't 1985 anymore. Hell, it wasn't 1995. The Nature Boy will never die. But even I had to admit it was time to do something different. It was time to evolve. So I looked all over the wrestling world for 2 young, hungry wrestlers who could be part of a bright new generation here in WCW. Wrestlers who'd be ready to learn from a jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun who can still go 60 minutes in the hotel room. So first of all, this man was a top-tier college athlete. He was an amateur champion while in the Army, and he would have been an Olympian if he hadn't hurt his knee stopping robbery. He's big, he's bad, he's Blaster Lashley. Out comes Bobby Lashley. And then, next up, he says, next up, with the power, you need a little bit of technical know-how. But this man not only knows wrist locks, he knows wristwatch. As he's an elite Swiss athlete, knows multiple languages, has traveled all over the world, and looks almost as good as I do in a suit. Welcome to WCW, Claudio Cesaro. And out comes Claudio. And these 2 men are Evolution. So let's get an 80. And so let's handle some changes. So yeah, I'm changing Lashley's gimmick. So he got a young badass as a gimmick, which is ensuring adequate. So that's not bad. And we're also handling gimmick changes. So yeah, he got a young badass, and Claudio Cesari's Swiss Wrestling Genius got a gimmick of 4, which is unfortunate, but we'll work with it. So that gets an 80, and they head to the ring, and it seems like a match is on. And here we go. Okay, so Flair gets some good work. Okay, so this isn't a total squash. In Evolution's debut here, Leppan and Toland are still a very good team, so they get, they actually start off, Lashley throws them around, tags in Claudio, who does some nice in-ring work, but eventually Leppan and Toland get the advantage on Claudio as he's doing the selling here. But eventually, Claudio gets a few big elbows, a few big uppercuts, tags in Lashley. Lashley goes to work. Claudio eventually comes in, hits him with a big European uppercut. Toland stumbles right into Lashley, who picks him up and nails him with a Dominator. 1, 2, 3. A huge debut win here for Evolution on WCW Nitro. As this gets a 66 overall, Toland gets a 73, Leppan gets a 75. Again, these guys are really good. But, so you need to work with a good team to get over. As Cesaro gets a 50, which isn't bad, and Lashley gets a 22 because, it's Bobby Lashley in 2005, But Claire Comedy did a boost. John Marie did good work. Lashley's getting better as gimmick, and Ric Flair did some good work at the ringside. Unfortunately, no great chemistry notes, but also no bad chemistry notes as far as managers go. So, still solid stuff. As after the match, Evolution and Flair celebrate as the entrants put over a big moment here on Nitro as Ric Flair has debuted a new tag team. And then we cut backstage where basically, we have the Chosen Few, sort of watching and, laughing and saying, look, the old man finally gave up and has brought 2 young punks up here, but they won't be a worry because we're the Chosen Few. And the reality is, Slapnuts, nobody can take any of us on. I took out that hardcore punk and sent him back to the street or wherever he is. And yet nobody has wanted to face the challenge of magnificent Jindrak in the ring because they know they can't stop him. They can't stop his talent. And they will be in utter awe of his magnificentness. As Jindrak goes on, when in comes the Truth. And Truth says, I'm gone for a little bit as TV champion, and you guys try to say that this guy's some unbeatable force. If you don't remember, I kicked his ass once, and I can do it again. And then they get in an argument, basically, Jindrak, them pointing out, Truth, just lost the TV title. Truth saying, Jindrak lost it as well. The argument continues, and eventually it gets set up. A match made for tonight. The Truth, back on Nitro after losing the TV title, will now face magnificent Jindrak in Jindrak's first match on this sort of newish, oldish gimmick. They're still a tag team, but I wanted to do something different, honestly, just because trying to build up new people and everything. This gets an 87, solid stuff. Johnny Vine overperformed, just sort of being the cocky heel, but fun stuff, And Truth, so Jindrak, you may think you're just special, but you can't handle the truth. And you sure as hell won't tonight. So then we have a quick little segment backstage where basically the camera follows, from the chosen few to we see Il Skipper and Prince Osei talking after they did leave together after the 4-way last month. And, Skipper, basically asks him if, this deal you're trying to make with me, are you being truthful about it? And Osei says, look, I have tracks and tracks of land in Ghana. If only you'll be a loyal attaché, and together we can bring true greatness to WCW finally. I'll have somebody backing me up. Skipper still seems to be worried, but, he says, I'll give you a chance. And let's get to 52. We have a new alliance, a new tag team. Just some 2 guys in the Cruiserweight division getting together. We'll just have to see what happens here. And then we have a sort of a big segment here. As out first comes Goldberg. Basically, putting over, doing the same thing he did last week, saying, he's done, he's on to better things, and he wants a challenge. He's faced, some of the best wrestlers in the history of this business. Hogan, Nash, Savage, all of them. And all of them have fell. And I want a new challenge here in the business, so who's ready to take on the man? And cue, Sean O'Hare. And, there's a bit of tension as, crowd is sort of split here. And Eric, basically, puts his hands up and says, not here out for a fight, at least not right now. Because you see here, let's be honest here, we're both in uncharted waters. You got past Fry, good work with that, and I took care of Toro's unfleeting ego. The champs, he's busy over in Revolution for the moment. And we've both been involved in darkness before, and we're beyond that. And Goldberg's like, so, your point is? Well, Bill, I respect the hell of you. Of course, there's no reason for me not to. You're one of the best in the history of this business. But you want to prove you're still the man? Well, I'm standing right here. I'm still the future shock of this business. So let's not wait. Next year, next week, right? Let's not wait until next year. Next month, when it's Nitro's turn to have a pay-per-view. Or even farther on. Let's get in that ring next week, right here on Nitro, and see who truly is the better man. So Goldberg paces around, basically getting the crowd up. Eventually takes Mike and says, O'Hare, you're next. And then he extends a handshake, and the announcers put over what a huge match it'll be for next week as Bill Goldberg takes on Sean O'Hare. And this gets 100, because these guys are both great. Actually hit the button there. And then we have our match here as, I don't want to say it's a squash match, but basically I said it as a car crash, which is what it is. The match really never gets under control as it's Reno Gigantes using what advantage they have, which is a size advantage, to try to brawl and fight and sort of a bit of organized chaos as Macias does a bit of flying around, pulls out a kendo stick and goes after Gigantes. Gigantes then sort of grabs him and hits a quasi border toss to the outside, almost through onto the announcer's table. He doesn't crash. Macias goes after Reno. They start brawling. Reno, Gigantes, and Macias actually face off and brawl for a bit, which gets a bit of a pop from the crowd. Gigantes goes for a chokeslam on Macias, but Morningstar comes in from behind, drop kicks him from behind, and eventually Macias hits Gigantes with a huge superplex from the top, and then it says hits the sickle of death, which he doesn't hear. He picks him up. He just actually hits him with a big chokeslam and gets the 1-2-3 pinfall. As it's not a squash match, but it is a match where Macias and Morningstar, you're reminded, even though they've gotten this feud with the darkness, is when they're not fighting off against random Evil Man or Raven. They're still 2 of the most devastating forces on Nitro, as they get the win here in a little under 9 minutes. It gets a 70. Morningstar gets an 86. Macias gets an 81. Gigantes gets a 60, and Reno gets a 64. Gigantes and Reno, roll to the outside. When out of nowhere, the lights go out, and when they come back on, it's not who you think. It's Wrathchild. It's Killswitch, and they go after Macias and Morningstar. As the answer put over, these two have been the centuries before for Deadpool, but then they took the side of Raven. It looks like they're incoming, going after the enemies of Raven once again as the fight continues before WWE officials try to break it apart. And there's a stare down between these two teams as it gets to 66. eventually just like, because I don't want to just do, hey, it's Raven, it's oh my god, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Okay, I'm a dumbass. I completely forgot I put Raven with Miss. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that dumb booking. Hey, let's pretend that was Kai Graves, not Macias. I totally brain dead moment. I wanted to put over. Oh my god, I'm a moron. Um, oh my god, I can't believe I misbooked that badly. Well, hey, let's pretend that was Kai Graves, not Macias. That's the thing. I'm so used to booking Macias Morningstar. My brain did not even think about it. Oh my god. Like, I totally okay. So yeah, all that except it was Kai Graves. No, Macias. Yeah, Kai Graves actually goes over. Yeah, okay. Oh my god. That's the dumbest booking I've done in a while. Like, and I know other people on YouTube have done that before, just totally doing the wrong thing. But yeah, yeah. Okay, well, shit happens. Anyway, let's move past that quickly. So, Borash, we cut backstage where Jim Borash is with Jack Evans as Teddy Hart is also doing Teddy Hart stuff in the background. And, Jack Evans asks, Borash basically says, you've been in a lot of big tag matches with Teddy, but this is probably the biggest singles match almost the biggest singles match of your career. And Evans, sort of responds and says, Shane Helms is a former world champion. And I'm not saying it's not a big match, but I got to the quarterfinals of Mayhem tournament last year when nobody thought I could possibly do it. I've risen and I've gone farther. No, I'm sorry, no. Let me restart that. Like, I've been in a lot of big matches already in my life. I've gotten farther in things like the main tournament than people thought. And I'm not saying facing off against Shane Helms, who's a former champion, is not a big deal. It's not. But it's my time now. I put my body to hell, but I not only did more than that tonight, Jeremy, because this isn't about flying through tables, getting over chairs, climbing a ladder to the top. I'll have to actually get in that ring, Shane, and out wrestle you. But the secret is, I'm damn ready to do that. You faced legends, world champions, and great wrestlers before. Tonight, I'm ready to be added to that list and shock the world in that ring. So, if you think this is going to be a walkover, or if you're taking the night off, Helms, don't. So 65, because let's be honest here, Jack Evans, not the best promo in the world. But still, not too terrible. And then we have a quick little segment as basically Austin Aries catches up with the unnamed woman. And he basically asks, who the hell are you and why did you get involved in my match? And she says, I'm the woman who can make your career. And Aries is like, I'm doing great here. I'm the hottest thing in the cruiser division. I will rise up and up. And I was this close to being the cruiserweight champion. And Tracy just sort of like smirks and says, yes, for now. But Austin, if you want something more permanent than just a hot night or two, then come find me. I'll be around. And then she walks away as Aries looks confused, but also looks like he's thinking about it. This gets a 36 because, well, Tracy Brooks not the most over, and so the cruiser tournament, so there you go. Then we have our semi-main event, as it's in a good match. Mark Jindrak and Truth face off, and this is a very, US Pro style match, you got your slams, you got your suplexes, got your, big boots, got a couple big moves. Jindrak, tries to wear down Truth, but Truth is, does a hot baby face comeback. But eventually, Truth slips out and like he's going to hit the Truth or Consequences. But there's a ref bump. Divine comes in, nails him with a super kick. Jindrak picks him up, mark of perfection. 1, 2, 3. And a big win for magnificent Mark Jindrak over a former TV champion here on Nitro. As it gets a 77. Truth gets a 73. Jindrak gets a 73. Truth is getting better as gimmick. And post-match, the heels cackle and celebrate as Truth looks very pissed off in the ring as this gets a 71. And then we have a Revolution recap, of course, focusing on Rey Mysterio Jr. ending up in on top of a car with the windshield broken, and basically looks like he's out. So the question is, what will happen to the world title match? And we're backstage in Bischoff's office. Did I say office twice? Yes, I did. And as Awesome Storm, the tag champs come in, and Bischoff's like, the show's almost over, so what do you want? And Awesome's like, look, the world champ isn't here because he's getting ready for Revolution. But we're here, the tag champs. And Erica's like, again, the main event's about to go on, so what do you actually want? And they're about to talk when in comes the US champion, Alex Wright. And as soon as he comes in, he goes directly after Awesome. And it looks like there's going to be a fight. When Bischoff steps in and says, wait. Alex, what the hell are you doing? And Wright's like, this man stole a victory off me. I want recompense for that. I want him that ring. I prove I'm the best. And Awesome's like, cocky says, look, I kicked your ass last week. That's true. But if you want to get any sort of comeback on me, then you better put that US title on the line. And Wright's like, of course, no. That's not a worry at all. I'll take you apart in that ring. Because I'm the US champion for a reason. And Bischoff's like, look, Alex, I usually talk to Tori about your matches. So, are you ready for this? We have to be a non-title match. I remember, I'm in charge here, not them. And Ray's like, no, I will not stand down. I'm my own man. Tori's my manager. That doesn't mean she runs my life. Next week on Nitro, I want Awesome in that ring. And if that means putting the US title up, so be it. Bischoff's like, all right, I'll make the match next week. So 2 big matches, Alex Wright versus Mike Awesome for the US title, and Bill Goldberg versus Sean O'Haire, as this gets an 80. Then it's time for our main event. And yeah, it's a banger. Shane Helms and Titus Tomko are an awkward pairing. Okay, so Tomko is now just unofficially Helms' bodyguard, but not actually coming out. That's one thing I'm fine doing, because I get why you want to do the managerial chemistry thing, but I don't know, it's a little weird. Anyway, on to the actual match. And this is a high quality, this is a very work-ready match to have on our main event. But the announcers put over, Jack Evans has been rising here in WCW, and now he's facing his biggest challenge as far as a singles match likely, facing off against the world champion Shane Helms. And, the story of the match is, of course, Shane Helms is a cocky heel bastard, so he takes this lightly before Evan gets a few cradles, roll-ups, and actually hits a few big moves, and actually hits a double jump moonsault for a close near fall. And that's when, Helms rolls out of the ring. Tomko blocks off any attack from Evans, and, Helms has to get himself back in the zone, and he gets him back zone, and he goes after Evans with a vengeance. Match goes back on, high tempo, lots of big moves. Evans hits a big dive onto Tomko and Helms as they're on the outside again, but Helms eventually takes over, hits the super kick late, but Evans is able to kick out, so he gets him up for the vertebreaker, but Evans gets out of it with a cradle, and then he has a few big moves. And just when it looks like he's going to go for the, hit, when he's about to go up top, Tomko shakes the ropes, which is just enough for Helms to recover, hit a big top rope DDT, super kick, Nightmare on Helm Street, 1, 2, 3. Helms, Jack Evans did his best, but he was basically 2-on-1 here. And Shane Helms picks up the victory here on Nitro, as Evan gets an 80. Shane Helms gets a 78. Let's see, was there anything bad? Penalized? Okay, low heat for this one storyline, but yeah, managerial chemistry. But yeah, hey, what can you do? So overall, the show gets us an 87. Okay, so Goldberg, O'Haire, yeah. And again, I feel really dumb about the Mrs. Morningstar. Again, I'm just so used to booking them together that I totally blanked on that. God. Well, hopefully when I actually do the, I will not be talking about that when I actually do that in in the sort of description for the video. Okay, let's see what Raw did. Oh, right, yeah. Actually, I can't show you guys Raw. Well, yeah, we'll see if there's any news, and then we'll go from there. As this is loading. Wow, this is taking a while. All right. Oh yeah, Bischoff did a. Oh my god, 2 random 5. I'm not even going to look at this because I'm going to be very upset. Whoops. That was a spoiler. I hope people went past. Shoot. I really, really hope nobody. Yeah. Aja Khan quit DDT. That's interesting. Let's see here. Raw. So there's no real spoilers here. Let's see here. Outcast defeated Little Fellows in a 71. Kane squashed Maven. Benoit defeated Ron Waterman. JBL promo, Jericho promo. Top Shelf defeated Randy Orton, Bump and Grind in 85. Then, of course, William Regal defeated Christian in a random 100. And Lesnar and Taker defeated Triple H and Jericho in a random 100. So they got a 3.18. We got a 2.79. So still pretty close, considering. But yeah. All Eyes on Misty. Okay. I mean, she's good. I don't know about Megastar. Is there something like... I mean, she's somebody... again, people might not remember, but she was part of the Triumvirate until she was then actually had terrible chemistry with Kidman, and I've just kept her down in the dev fed because I didn't know what to do with her. She might be somebody I like figure out a new character for and bring up because like she does have some very good skills. Like obviously not a wrestler, but like charisma, mic, star quality, acting, sex appeal, all that good stuff. So yeah, maybe, but who knows. Anyway, I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. All right, welcome everybody to Revolution, live from the New Orleans Arena, where I actually remember to set my actually correct place. And we start out with Teddy Long opening the show, and he basically says, after what happened at the end of last week, unfortunately, Ray Jr. is out for the time being with no timetable to return. But the show goes on, and Revolution needs a number 1 contender. And then out comes all the top guys. First, AJ Styles, then Chuck Palumbo right after him, then Monty Brown basically chasing after him, then finally Booker T. And Teddy, puts the ball over. AJ, you're one of the rising competitors. Monty, you're a dominant athlete. And Chuck, you've done it almost all already in WCW. But there's one man who stood out above everyone you recently, and that's the former 6-time world champion. And as of now, the man getting the world title shot at Revolution, Booker T. Big pop for that. Of course, everybody's upset. And, of course, Palumbo's very upset at AJ and Monty because they were involved in his business. Looks like there's about to be a fight between the 3 of them. But, Teddy Long basically sends them to the back and sends them home for the night because he doesn't want them getting, trying to take out the new number 1 contender. And they leave finally. And Booker takes the mic and says, I'm ready to get Billy Kidman in that ring and remind him why I'm a 6-time cue the Triumvirate coming out, and they're at the top of the ramp, and he's like, Kevin takes mic says, it's so sad, it's so unfortunate what happened last week with Rey Mysterio Jr., cue the views. Truly an unfortunate accident. We must have tripped and fell into a windshield multiple times, breaking it and getting blood all over him. It's truly a sad and terrible day. But, as you said, Teddy, the show goes on, and Triumvirate is ready to take on any challenge. Teddy just looks over Booker and says, Seka, here's what you gotta know. What you did, and let's be honest, even though we can't prove it, what you did to Ray, you can do that to him. Because, nothing personal against him, but the guy's a Boy Scout. He's a good man. But you're not dealing with a Boy Scout anymore. You're not dealing with a good man. You're dealing with a 6-time world champion who can get just as dirty and down in the muck as you have, if not dirtier. Because let's be honest here, guys, Lance, Seka, you're too dorky to have done hard time. Awesome. Nobody snitched on you because they were scared of you. And Kidman, well, you're too pretty. 2005 pop. Well, actually, okay, maybe, Billy, maybe your woman April there got picked up on a corner or two. Big, you called a woman slut pop in 2005. But you want to get in that ring with me, Billy? Fine. Come down there with that belt, and then I'll be happy to kick your ass all over New Orleans tonight and take that belt off of you right now. Big pop for that. Kidman's like, okay, who's going to stop? Well, I got backup right now. So what? Who's going to help you out when we just come down there and take you out? Just like Ray Jr. got taken out, of course, not by us. And then Q and W's music. We get a brawl, we get a fight, and eventually we get a setup for a 6-man match as our main event. So that got to a 95. And then the setup for the tag match got a 97. So a really hot start to the show. And there we go, building things up. And then we have our opening match, which is Cash and Paul London having an absolute banger of a match as they have great chemistry. And these two guys just it's just a super hot move for very, I guess, early PWG style. As you know, Cash is a really good base. He can do his bully weight character a little bit here, but Paul London can be an underdog, cocky young rising babyface. And eventually, it looks lots of moves: springboards, planchas, topes, Frankensteiners, power bombs, attempts at dead levels, shooting star press. Maybe turned blocked and then hit it with a big top row DT. But eventually, it looks like there's going to be a big win as Paul London gets in a backslide, but both men's shoulders are down, and the match is a double pinfall, which makes nobody happy. As gets an 85, Cash gets an 84, Paul London gets a 92, and we're going to turn London's gimmick, and his new Rising Young Star got a gimmick of Great. And the post-match, they just continue to fight before the officials come down and break them apart. It seems like these two men are not done with each other yet, as it gets a 73. And then we go backstage where Amy Weber is outside as Ravidam arrives, but he's on his cell phone talking to somebody who we still don't get a name of. And, as Weber tries to ask him about his match with Dean Malenko later on tonight and their history in ECW, RVD brushes her off and says, nothing personal, Amy, but I got more important business to tend to right now. Okay, it's really sorry. And then he walks away. So again, RVD seems very preoccupied with something else as opposed to his match tonight against Dean Malenko, as this gets to 66 as just a short, backstage 2-minute segment. Come on. Then we cut backstage where we see WCW Women's World Champion Gail Kim, Alli Danger, and one half of the WCW Women's World Tag Team Champions, Nikita Kalt. As Gail Kim explains, there's a 6-woman tag later on tonight, and she says when she needed 2 men to team up with, she nobody better than a young, brash up-and-comer like Alli, who's not worried about magazine spreads or what these idiots in the crowd cares about, who knows she needs to back up the head bitch in charge of WCW, and of course, a former women's world champion and one half of the best women's tag team in the business today, named Nikita Kalt. Nikita basically says, I'm agreeing to team up tonight because I respect you, Kim. But it's not an alliance. It's a temporary arrangement because I and Messina still need to dominate the tag team division and show all these other teams they're nothing but a bunch of Winnelish, Dries Cool, or Whiny Dirty Cows. And if there's anybody German, I'm sure I just butchered that. And basically, Alli's just running around excitable and says, let's do this now. Let's get ready to fight, and Gail has to calm her down. As this gets a 77, solid stuff. Building up, putting over, along with our, probably shouldn't have done 2 6 people matches that are back-to-back, but hey, this isn't 2K23, it's not going to hurt me. And then we have a quick in-ring from Lizzie Dumas as the ring says, you want, anybody back there? You want to see me in this ring, showing who I am? We'll get somebody down here so I can kick their ass. Just a quick promo, so it only gets a 53, and then out comes Nikki Ratcliffe, and honestly, this is a squash. Well, not quite get squash as Nikki gets some offense in, but eventually Lizzie takes over, hits the Twist of Fate, which we're probably renaming, and then, hits the moonsault and hits the pinfall victory, and, not a total squash, but it's a way to put Lizzie back over as, remind everybody she's, she may have had her issue with Tricia Skye, and, got beaten out by that, but she's still a very, very important competitor as part of the women's division, as she gets the pinfall here as the leader for Captivation. As it gets a 63, Lizzie gets a 63, Nikki Ratcliffe gets a 43, But of course, the beatdown is on as the rest of Captivation come down, but eventually Annie Vidal tries to make a save for her tag partner, but she gets her ass kicked. But eventually Roni and Lila come down to make the save and run off the Captivation as there's a stand down, as this gets a 50, and yeah, it was probably too long for these overness, but hey, stuff goes wrong. What can you do? But again, building that undercard of the women's division. And then, wow, Jamie, I keep reading Knoble's really over and really good. But anyway, we then cut backstage where, well, not backstage, where we cut to a VTR where Jamie Knoble is in the woods. And he says, Kenny Anderson, I'm a fighter, man. You probably think you're big and bad because you managed to get me once, but I was brought up to never stop, to never give up, and take what I need and what I want. It was tough growing up here. No silver spoons, just ripping and tearing and fighting and getting every little bit of morsel to rise to the top. And that's why I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm going to rise to the top in this business. And we'll only be done, brother, when I say we're done. And Kenny, I want everyone to see that you're not my equal. I want you to cry, squeal, and beg. I want broken bones. I want snapped ACLs. I want you to be done and over and out of Revolution. I want to make you quit. Looks like Jamie Knoble has now challenged Ken Anderson to an I Quit match, and we'll see what he says about that. As this gets a 90 because Jamie Knoble turns out really good. And then we cut backstage to where the babyface women are backstage, and, Alyssa Alexander is upset about last week and how she got, suckered into losing Alli Danger, and, Tricia, puts her over and says, look, you're just starting out here in WCW, and stuff like that will happen in this business. You just got to get over it. Then we see Celine Cartier pacing, and, Celine steps and says, Tricia's right. Everybody has moments like that. And Tricia, I'm ready to take that title from Gail Kim, but, tonight, teaming up, I'm ready to get a few shots in, and plus, she's no friend of that Ice Queen. I'm French-Canadian, but the French part is still important for our line. Tricia laughs about that and says, tonight's, for us, the sky's the limit. 96, really good. I mean, shockingly good considering I did rate Alexander, so wow. Again, Trish Stratus, good at this promo stuff. And then we have our Rob Van Dam Dean Malenko match, and again, it's not quite a squash, but Dean's getting slow, and honestly, I'm just seeing how much longer I can use him in the ring. But there's some not ECW throwback isn't violence, but there's the sort of exchange moves match and then face off to get a pop from the crowd. But eventually Rob does take over, and he's aggressive, but totally clean, but just hitting lots of big moves, big strong moves, big suplex, backbreaker, rolling thunder, eventually hits the leg lariat, hits the rolling thunder, the split leg and moonsault, and then goes up top and hits the 5-star frog splash. 1, 2, 3, and picks a big victory here on Revolution as he gets a 79. Van Dam gets a 92, and Malenko gets a 57, and Van Dam looks good in the match. And RVD is celebrating, pointing to himself. Dean's taps on the shoulder. RVD turns around ready for fight, but Dean's extends for a handshake, and RVD basically shakes it real quick, and then he's to the back. As they get 71, as our little angle with Van Dam's character continues. And then we cut backstage just for something very odd, as we see Keenan Sharp with basically a bunch of what we're looking for, a bunch of flyers, and he's puts them throws them on Teddy's desk, and what looks like is there's basically a big thing up that says bro down, and then we see various college campuses, mostly in the southeast, because that's where we're heading. And Sharp is I could be showing these hedonistic, lazy, privileged, self-important, intellectually vapid children the path, but instead you're sending some tanned moron who's going to DJ and set up shots for these children. And Teddy's brother, that's not my department, Sharp. But I'll be honest, looks more fun than you telling everybody how they should lead your life. And Sharp looks long over and says, everybody, when walking the path. And then he walks out of the ring, and then Teddy picks up the flyer says, I don't know, looks like fun to me. So a little bit of a angle here as it gets a 67. Then we have our sixth women's tag match, which does really well, especially considered Alli and Cartier are not that over. I mean, Alli and Alexander are not that over, and like it's a back and forth match. Like everybody, honestly, Skye and Kim sort of avoid each other. There's a couple of like quick spots, but eventually, like Skye and Kim end up like brawling to the outside. But back and forth match, Danger gets some good spots in. Alexander gets some revenge with a big spine buster for a near fall. But eventually things fall apart, and what happens is Nikita Kalt looks like she's about to lock in Alyssa Alexander into a hold, but on sort of as she's getting locked into it, she reaches out and barely tags in Cartier, which the ref sees, but Kalt doesn't, and Celine comes in, picks up Nikita, and out of nowhere hits her with Sizzler air raid crash, and picks up the big victory, 1, 2, 3. As this gets a 78, Alexander gets a 50, Cartier gets a 79, Skye gets an 87, Nikita gets a 76, Danger gets a 50, and Gail Kim gets an 84. And post-match, the babyfaces celebrate to the cheers of the crowd as the announcers put over a big victory for Celine Cartier over one half of the WCW Women's Tag Team Champions. Then we have our Nitro recap focusing on Bill Goldberg and Alex Wright, who I forgot to set as off-screen. And then it's time for our main event. And yeah, I mean, it is your very, like, it's your, Raw / SmackDown 60-minute main event. Back and forth, lots of, big moves, big moments. But eventually things do break down, as they tend to do in six-mans. And in the end, Booker actually has Kidman in the ring. And April Hunter tries to, do the distraction, but Sharmell pulls her down. Get a bit of a cat fight, and that's just enough of a distraction for Kidman to walk right into a huge bookend from Booker right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Booker gets the victory over the WCW World Champion, as you know, over a huge moment it is, as Booker looks to become a 7-time WCW World Champion. 90 overall for the match. Storm gets an 88, Awesome gets an 89, Kidman gets a 91, Harris gets a 78, Storm gets an 81, and Booker T gets a 91. And then post-match, we basically get a, looks like it's about to be a brawl, but then a stare down as Booker, raises his hands up, pointing at Kidman as the entrance put over. It'll be a big world title match for Kidman at Great American Bash as he takes on Booker T. 84 for this finishing as we only go 4 minutes. And overall, this gets a 92. So good stuff. And hey, it's Natty, who is still on the show. I haven't figured out the right spot for her. So yeah, really good show. They're honestly better than I thought. Like, Cash and Lynn have great chemistry, helped out. Six-man was something like, honestly, I knew AMW, also, it should be obvious, but AMW are doing their rematch. Is it because there's not really much of a tag division on Revolution? Of course not. But yeah, I think the women's six-man was also fun. I honestly didn't think about it being the same thing as the men's six-man, so that stuff happens. But hey, good times. Again, that was maybe a bit of a spoiler, but anyway. So let's first check out our storyline. So we got Against the Darkness, which is at a 71. After my very, very, very smart looking. Chosen Backgrounds is at a 79, now involving the truth. Cruiser Stuff's at a 57. Divinely Dangerous is at a 70. Evolution is a Mystery is at 66. Expensive Taste is at an 89. Helms Legacy at 78. O'Hare, again, that it's still going on, at least for the moment. Beautiful Violence is at a 51. Booker Steps In is at a 91. Cashing Out London is at a 79. Disunion or Disorders at a 56. Knoble Anderson's at an 84. Revolution Rising's at an 84. Triumvirate Rising, which is our tag feud, which is fine. Who's the Alex Wright, or because of Mike Wright, 87. Kim Skye's at a 78, and Women at War is at a 76. So good stuff as far as that goes. And now to look over what the wrestling world is up to. So first WWE, they had Judgment Day, so I'll show you that. So let me see here. Pre-show stuff, Mark Henry, Blue Boy, Streets of the Suburbs, defeated Lance Cade and Christian York. Streets of the Suburbs, if you don't remember, is the team of Spanky and Homicide, which got over huge in OVW, so I, renamed them, and there you go. Al Snow defeated Matt Classic. Rikishi and Divine Boy defeated Little Fellas. And Val Venis defeated Crash Holly. This is a world where Val Venis managed to hang on until 2005 in WD, which is interesting. So we open up with Jackie Gay defeated Terry by DQ in a 63. Skyfall Kevlin, who's heir apparent, defeated Stephen Richard for the European title in an 82. So there you go. Top Shelf, Hall Steiner DDP defeated Taz, Justice, which is Abyss, and Hawk, which is, Cody Hawk. Okay. TNA defeated the Outcast by DQ for the tag titles. Molly Holly defeated Veronica Vane in 78. JBL defeated Leviathan in a cell match in an 84. William Regal defeated Shane McMahon in a random 98. Billy Christian defeated Christian in a tables match for the IC title. So the new Team Angle exploding ends with Billy Gunn getting the big win here to take the Intercontinental title, which I think he previously had. Anyway, Triple H defeated Jericho and Orton in a tables match in a random 100, because of course they did. Lesnar and Show defeated Gallows and Brujo for Vampiro and Kane by DQ in a 99. Angle defeated Benoit in a 99. And Shawn Michaels defeated Taker in a cell match in a 99. Now I gotta think. Okay, IC title. Okay, no, that was something else I was thinking of. Oh no, this is way back at the start, right? This is way back in 2001. Okay, that's something I don't think you guys even saw. So then after that, we had SmackDown, where we had, let's see here, Lesnar calling out Michaels, Mark Henry and the Little Fellas defeating Orton, Saturn Snow in an 80. Lots of segments. Ivory defeated Veronica Vane in a 67. Molly Holly, Jackie Day defeated Amber James and Smrika. Edge defeating Scott Vick. Kurt Angle defeated Maven. Then, of course, in two random 99s, Undertaker defeated Scott Steiner by DQ. And Brock and Lesnar defeated Jericho and Triple H by DQ. Of course they did. And yeah, I'll also show you Raw having two random 100s. Because of course they did. Sometimes I dislike the AI. I mean, I get why the game does it, because otherwise we'd just kill them. But it's still, not that fun sometimes. Anyway, to go to our Death Feds first. NWA Wildside. TV had Kenzuki, Matt Cross defeating Naked Warriors and Ryan Drago in a cage match. Guys aren't really ready yet. Lazarus defeated Rick Michaels. Jimmy Rave defeated Ray Gordy. Ray Gordy, I don't know. Yeah, this is a bit of a spoiler, but Ray Gordy, of course, got injured a long time ago and was out for months, and now he's back, but he's out in our Dev Fed until I can figure out what to do with him. Which I guess is kind of a spoiler, but not really. Matt Morgan defeated Chance Profit in a tables match. So looks like they're putting Morgan over. Ortiz and Rhodes and Mountain defeated Kent Cole, Siaki, and Rain Man. Same matches have been going for a while. Siaki's getting there. And Am Ortiz, who is a regen, might, again, maybe some spots, but depends on what I do. And I have to, I want an actual good character for them. Then Casperelli defeated Matt Cross and Ray Gordy. And then, main event doesn't matter because those are not my guys. Then we had AWQ. So they had their weekly show, which included Madison Eagles defeated Annette Blatchard, who's a regen, and tables match at 28. We had Mischief, ODB, and Michelle McCool defeat Tracy's Trailer and the Mega Woman. And some interesting stuff there. Ariel defeated Becky Bayless. Ariel's somebody who, I don't know what I'm going to do because, there's no spot for her yet. We have Osaka defeated Madison Claire, and Kim Nielsen defeated Tracy Brooks as she's going out of the territory. It's interesting, the titles, primary level championship for female singles wrestlers. But it's very weird. It has not been, since, March. I'll double check. Yeah, that is weird that they haven't been doing it. Anyway, I don't care that much. It's just really weird. Anyway, then we had Ladies' Night in front of about 3,000 people, where we had Michelle McCool defeated Madison Eagles in a 40. Miko Osaka defeated Carly Chambers, who was another region, in a 52. ODB and the 100% Girls defeated Amazing Kong Mega Woman in a 49. And then non-gay partners of Madison and Tracy Brooks defeated Ariel and Tracy Taylor. So, interesting show. It's always weird how the goes. But again, they haven't. Same thing with the tag. Well, at least the tag titles was only a little over a month ago, so that makes more sense. But yeah, it's weird that the game isn't. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Anyway, HWA weekly show. Nick Mitchell, who is of course a future member of the Spirit Squad in our timeline, won a match. Billy Back defeated Silas Young. Dan Robert defeated Barry Bradburn. Jacobs Andy Lee defeated Alex Schilling Club Deluxe. Stormfront defeated Derek Corbin. Ricochet defeated Jorge Estrada. and Ray Steele defeated Alex Gallagher. Then we had OVW doing OVW things. Sean Casey defeated John Cena. AJ Sparks defeated Bloody Phoenix. Chuck Taylor defeated Rory Fox. Shannon Taylor defeated Sarah Stock again. Bradley and Pewter defeated the Insane Team Monologue and Shaggy Dewtope. And Joey Ryan defeated Mitch Page. Yeah. OVW is doing OVW's thing. It's still interesting to me that Cena isn't out of the pre-show, but I figure that'll, like... And how long has he been in OVW? I forget. Okay, I mean, it's been 3 months, so... Again, it's weird that we're in a world where Cena's still like a developmental guy. Joey Matthews, meanwhile, is the OVW champion. So there you go. And I think, let me see. If we go to the news, sure there's just events. Yeah, let's see here. Judgment Day. Yeah, I think that's it. So, two things I want to show you guys. Outside of that is Noah had their big show in front of 48,000 people. Chronic defeated Yusui and Izumura, sure. We had Horace Boulder, who's Hulk Hogan's nephew, defeat Takushi Sugiura. The Blackman defeat Shiga. Samoa Joe defeat Asako, so at least he's doing well. We had Featured Attraction defeat Ganasuki and Riki Fuki, which is a very indie sleaze team. Retaining the junior heavyweight tag titles. We had the pool of Akira Toei and Ricky Marvin defeat Shane Douglas and Fujita. That's sure, 2 tag teams. Then we, of course, we had Akiyama versus Takayama be in 95. Masai defeating Ogawa be in 93. And Kobashi, Marufuji, 99. Probably awesome. And then the other thing was just for fun. Remember, not Ring of Honor. We now have... where are you? I know it happened. Hold on. Not PWU. It was... Oh, right. It was... Right. So, Ring of Violence. Remember, not Ring of Honor. Run by Rob Black. Was made by Mike Quackenbush versus Amazing Red for the ROH World Title. We also had Chino and Cloudy versus Alex Shelley and BJ Penn. Dixie versus Andy Sumner. Derek Friso and Dave Mysterio defeated Skin and Ivan and Quiet Storm. David Flair in a match. Yeah, this is some real wackiness. But yeah, that's it. Some interesting shows. Again, some really dumb booking by me. But that's for now. If you're enjoyed this, go and give it a like. Comment below where you're liking and not liking. Of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020. Some Victoria 3, Crusader Kings 3, W2K23, Journey Wrestling, and who knows what else. But that's for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.